something on your mind anytime. I'm here to listen. Sister Talk. When you need someone who understands, I know what you're missing. Sister Talk. No matter what you're going through, don't worry, I ain't going nowhere. Sister Talk. If you ever feel alone, say the word, I'll be right there. Sister Talk. Sister, 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 sister talk, sister.
Empire, the show has been taking the network by storm. I mean, you know, they first came on, they were getting millions and millions of views and so forth, you know, and people just baffled by it. However, it has been on CNN commentators, supposedly black scholars, as they say, and some of them say it's buffoonery, coonish. Come on, is it just entertainment? Or is it that? Because it, to me, is really, it represents, to me, it's not real, first of all. But it represents a lot of black people, you could say. You got one that's Ivy League, you got one's a rapper, one's a singer. I mean, you got a guy who's who built an empire from drug money, you know, Jay-Z, you know, so hey.
And many others.
And it was created by a white man at that, okay? I mean, come on, what do you all think about? And please call in 212-757-1393. Empire. Is it buffoonery? Is it coonish? Or is it just plain entertainment? Let's talk.
Well, I think it's just plain entertainment. Okay, I remember Dynasty.
Yes.
Melrose Place.
Yes.
Yes.
Knots Landing. Well, I don't see nobody talking about them.
Joan
This
Rivers
was just,
used to get her butt beat all the time.
Okay.
Do you remember? Do you remember?
All that time. All the time.
The first time I heard it on TV? Oh,
Yeah.
Taking you back to the 80s.
really?
Okay.
Yeah,
I said,
It's a
she
small
said
town.
it. It made the papers.
Well, here's the problem. I mean, I watched the show. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. I watched the show.
Okay.
And for me, it represents a certain reality. I've worked with women coming out of the prison system. And a lot of those sisters, like Cookie, has defended their men, and so they
served time.
So they served time in the place of their men. And I think that this show basically picks up where Hustle and Flow left off. And I think that it's a good show. It's entertainment, but also at the same time, we have to be mindful that this is a primetime slot where our children are watching. I mean, even Tyler Perry has a show, but his show comes on, you know, which is like a soap opera, a black soap opera, but his show comes on at 11 o'clock at night. And so when you have a show like this that's positioned at 9 o'clock in the evening, 8 and 9 o'clock in the evening, where the kids are still up, I think that they need to position that show so that, you know, it's later in the evening where our young kids are not exposed to it. The other issue that I have is that you have Channel 5 and Channel 11, you know, in the 90s, they build up their viewership through black shows like Living Color
Martin
and so on and so forth.
Right.
And as soon as they got their viewership up, they dumped all the black shows and whatnot. And then we saw shows like Dawson Creek and all these other lily white shows, the UPN and Channel 5.
I had not thought of that.
We can't get a decent show. Now here it goes. We get Blackish, which is another, you know, there were some controversies about that show. But this is another reason, and I know I'm kind of like going on another tangent, but this is the reason why Bill Cosby said, you know what, I want to come back in and I want to do a family-oriented show so that
we see other images of black people.
Hey, let's take this phone call. Caller, you watch the SISTAH Talk TV show. What's your name, where you calling from, and what do you have to say?
Yes, Blackish comes on at 9:30. This is Crystal. I'm going to be quick.
Okay.
Blackish comes on 9:30. That's the one I watch. I used to watch Empire in the beginning, but it's starting to get tired. It's pure entertainment, mere entertainment, rather. I don't particularly care for it. The music is nice. Everybody got good voices. Everybody look good and all of that. But it's starting to get tired. Entertaining, I find it not. But Blackish is hysterical. I find that interesting how they put both of them together. And like I said before, we have a societal problem, which is what's happening. They can dog us out all they want. But we are kings and queens. We gonna always do that.
That's right.
You know what I'm trying to
We
say?
are
What
kings
you
and
think?
queens.
Okay, thank you, Crystal. That's a good point. Thank you so much. What do you have to say, Grafina?
You can take Empire and look at all of the things that has been subjected to the show and really have conversations with our kids about it, if you chose to do so. The whole issue of homosexuality and being able to come out, the fact that there are women that are sitting in jail today for men and things that men have done.
That's a good point. That's a good point. And it's not a black and white thing. This is across the
true.
board.
This is
'Cause
true.
That's
It's
what
a
we do.
woman-man
That's
thing.
what we do.
It's a woman and man thing.
I'll hold the drugs, baby. It's okay.
Be easier
I'll
for
do
me
the
and there than
time,
you.
baby. You know, you just take care of my kids. All
And
right.
you definitely can look at the role of stereotypes.
Right.
But the whole thing is that we as a community, we're not focused on like looking at what our children are looking at and having those conversations. We're looking at it for entertainment where, and we're like saying, okay, this is the whole black community when it's not, when it is not.
Right.
Well, I would just say, from the perspective of someone who is familiar with the music industry, a lot of the things that are happening in that show are very real.
You know, my sister used to work in the entertainment industry, and I used to come and visit her on the job. And yeah, I could see some similarities
Yes,
there. You know,
definitely so. Even in the way they casted it, and I'm looking at I saw a few episodes where they had the up and coming singer, and her name is Tiana. No mistake, they're trying to, connect her with Rihanna. Kind of close, you think?
Yeah.
And
I thought
she
she
has
was
this
a-
love-hate relationship with the son of the master of the empire. You know, a lot of it they're pulling from the headlines of today. But I can understand how they're pulling what's happening in the music business today to make entertainment from it. But a lot of it is realistic. And
Right,
what needs to
okay.
happen is we should communicate with our kids to see how they're relating with it. Because some of them think that this is all that there is.
Yeah, that's true.
Here's another reality. I mean, there haven't been many roles for black people in primetime television. And then the few roles that did come out
Since the Cosby Show.
is that you
the
have
single
Scandal, and I love Kerry Washington, but here goes a sister who fixes everything in Washington, including the president, sleeps
Yikes.
with the president,
Ouch.
and and that's a negative thing.
Negative.
But not too many. But everybody's jumping in front of the TV set to watch Scandal.
Not I. Is there a caller?
There's another show. There's another
Not
show
I.
called Being Mary Jane, and I love the sister. Gabrielle Union.
Yeah.
I love her. She's a beautiful actress, and everything on that show was not exactly positive. And so I say that to say this. I'm remembering, some of the black exploitation films where you had groups like the NACP and a lot of the Urban League was saying about the negativity that, that's being exploited in these films. And some of those actors saying, hey, we got jobs.
Right.
And so I say that to say this. You see Mary J. Blige on the show. You see Miss Hudson on the show.
Right.
You just saw Patti LaBelle on the show. So
Yes.
now it's like everybody's trying to be a part of this show, and everybody's looking for an opportunity to be paid.
Was there a picture, or was there some type of image of Maya Angelou on the show? I just thought, for a moment, I just saw, no?
God, I hope not.
No. I said, Zaki, that's Maya
Clutching
Angelou.
my pearls.
And you clutch your, oh no,
Get my
no.
smelling salts.
Speaking, we're going to close this up. Call in, please, 212-757-1393. What do you think of
man.
Empire? You think it's buffoonery? You think it's coolness? Or just pure entertainment? So 212-757-1393. Terrence Howard is really adamant about using the N-word. I'm scared to say the word.
You don't have to
because
be
of the
scared, but
call
we
they
don't want
called
to.
in,
We
but
just don't wanna.
the word, that word, I just think that's a little bit over the top. Personally, I don't think it's not all that authentic. The show is not all that.
I
real
like
to me.
Howard, but I think he's out of his doggone mind.
Yeah.
And whatnot.
yeah.
I think that's good. I mean, I understand, he's talking about, oh, we need to make this more real. That is a word that should not be used, period.
We can make it real without using that
And
word.
we don't need to proliferate that word any more than what it is.
Right, I agree. We can make it more real without using that word and promoting it and giving more power and breathing more life into it.
Well, his take on it is that he thinks that word is a part of the Black community culture, which I totally disagree with that.
Well-
I don't think with all three of us, and you all have my number, and we have talked personal issues, we don't be saying, Mark,
No.
you ain't never called me,
No.
No.
be,
No,
this,
no,
or this in
unacceptable.
conversation tone, anything like that,
No,
or
it's
in
not a
this,
part-
or in that.
No,
I
it's not a
choose not
part
to
of
have it
the.
a part of my
No.
vocabulary.
It's a part of the pulp culture.
The pop culture.
The pop culture,
culture.
pop
Pop,
culture.
yeah, right.
Because it is amazing how many students from all different nationalities use the word.
Yeah.
That's amazing. You're a teacher, so you know that. Do you think it's across the board? You said it is across the board, that calls that word. But is there a group of students that don't use, children that don't use that word? Have you found that?
I haven't come across one.
Seriously?
I don't
Wow.
allow it in my presence.
I haven't come
Better
across
check
it.
that right away.
My daughter knows not to say it in my presence, and she understands where the word comes from, but when they're by themselves and they're talking with each other,
They say that.
and it's not like, it's not so proficient in here where she says it every single minute, but I've heard it like slip out.
Okay.
And I really believe that it's more of a pop culture thing, because it goes from white, black, Hispanic on a consistent basis, women, rather girls, boys, all the time.
Okay, let's see what the caller has to say. Caller, you watch the Sister Talk TV show. What do you have to say? And where are you calling from? What's your name?
Hi, it's Monica from Manhattan again.
Hey, Monica, how you doing?
Okay, I know friends of mine who are offended by Jay-Z using the N-word in songs. And I have to agree, people say he's a genius, but, he really shouldn't, because it influences the young people. As, your guest was saying, it's in pop culture, and he's so huge in media and is such a big influence. So, can you guys take a stand and send him a letter saying stop using that word?
That's something
Jay-Z
to think
is not
about,
gonna stop
Monica.
using
Thank
the
you so
word.
much.
He's not going to stop.
That's something to think about. Really is.
Yeah, even with everything that he's done, we remember that Jay-Z is out of the Marcy Tompkins community, and that's just something that they were raised to,
But he's an
raised
adult.
around hearing.
Yeah, but you're an adult now,
And
you
I
got
agree.
children.
And he has
I
children.
agree.
He has children.
But this is how he made his money. You think he's going to stray
But
from
I
it?
look at Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor
Oh,
made
yeah.
a career, made big money off of that word. But when he went to Africa, he said he didn't see no niggas there.
Maybe
He didn't see that.
Jay needs to go make
And
a
he
visit.
said, I'm never going to use that word again,
No.
because he said, you know what? That's a word that was used to describe our own wretchedness.
Right.
Yes,
It was
wretchedness.
used to destroy us,
Right.
and now we're celebrating it. And that's why I think we should not put more fuel into it.
So when I hear, my nieces and my nephews listen to the music and it has the N word and it, and they don't just use it one time, they use it 100 times.
Yeah.
And not to me, not
Outside
to.
of their names.
Yeah, outside of the names, and they say, well, Uncle, see, you gonna come with us with that Malcolm X stuff, and when I say, you gotta understand, folks like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and many others, and when that died so that others would not treat us like that word.
And you allowing them to.
And now, how can somebody say something about, well, hey, Mark, here it goes, you're trying to change the image of how people are called, but look at how they choose to call themselves.
And that's the argument. How do we stop other people from saying it to us if we say it to each other?
Someone who understands, I know what you're missing. Sister Talk, No matter what you're going through, don't worry, I ain't going nowhere. Sister Talk. If you ever feel alone, say the word, I'll be right there. Sister Talk. Sister, 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 sister talk. Sister, 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 sister talk. Sister, 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 sister talk. Sister, sister, sister. Ooh, Sister Talk.